Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today we're looking at the Landsknecht Emporium Rotmilan Kriegsmesser, and we're also going to be looking at the scabbard for this one. It also comes with 2 utility knives. There's some specs, up close looks, and also cut testing with this one from LE. Alright, first impressions on this one. I did this one late last year without the scabbard. So the second clip is going to be just on the scabbard itself, and I'll put it in there. That way you can see the whole kit, because it's really impressive. It's all hand done. And, you know, if you haven't been watching the stuff on the channel as of lately, I've done quite a bit of LE stuff, and it's really unique. So my take on this one, Rotmilan Kriegsmesser. This is a 10-inch top edge, 6150 high carbon steel one. It's a Kriegmesser. It's got a little bit of a curve to it. You can see it's not completely perfectly straight, which is actually better, especially for something of this length, because it flies incredibly well. This thing flies like something maybe like 8 to 12 inches shorter, and it's got the ability obviously to be a double-handed weapon, two-handed weapon. Some really good features on it are obviously this is a full tang. You can see the tang on both sides. You've got the wood slabs, the brass rivets that are milled out, which takes out excess weight. You also have the hook on the end right here, and then it's also a peen pommel, the nail, which protects the hand, as you can see on the top. And from the side, you can see that protects the hand from things like vines, that not sliding down to a draw cut, especially on the outside of the center. So it's a little bit of hand protection for something that's not even categorized as a sword. It's a war knife, still a sword. I mean, look at the length of it too. So this one's got a lot of range to it. My take on it personally, oh yeah, let me say that before I keep going. This is a training bolo. This is from, Filipino training bolo. This thing is around 15 and a half inches. I like to show this as a size comparison to give some perspective, so you don't have to just grab a tape measure. You could also click the link in the description and check out the specs online. But look at the difference in in length. It's a lot different in use, but a lot difference in length of this one. Pretty crazy. So just a little side note on that. My take on this one, I know it's a Kriegmesser. Some people didn't agree with me, but I still stand by what I said, especially because I've actually moved with this one. I've cut with this one. It feels like a pole arm. It feels like a pole axe or even a naginata, where, basically have a sword on the end of a stick. Pretty much what this feels like, but I would put this more in the category from point of balance and the craftsmanship. It's got a lot more agility than a pole arm. So you can still, obviously work this with 2 hands if you want to work larger cuts. If you're bringing this back around, really that reverse backhand cut is going to be the MVP, whether it's with 2 hands or with 1 hand. But really, the thrust positions too, whether with 2 hands or with 1 hand, this thing just moves really well. Like the transitioning from cut into thrust or thrust into cut, it's really impressive. It's like a really beefy longsword that has a slight curve to it to enhance its cutting ability. Another thing too is the top edge. Top edge on this is 10 inches. So from this point all the way up to the tip, that is all sharp. So you can work the different draw cuts, pulling that cut in, or even pulling that cut in on the other side. But really too, you have all these top edge strikes or false edge strikes where you're using the whole top edge. Maybe you got into a bind, you got around something, boom! Or you're picking something up as you're moving back, boom! You got a lot of juice behind that with something like this. And again, if you're using that with 2 hands, you obviously have that hook, which is really, really comfortable, especially for something that is around 3 pounds, 3 ounces. It doesn't feel like it. It doesn't feel lightweight like a car intent or anything like that, but just the distribution of weight, the quality of material, how solid the grip feels. It doesn't feel like it's 3 pounds. So top edge strikes, boom. Main edge strikes, boom, covered. You've got all the thrust, all the direct thrust, the backhand thrust, and then moving from things like 2 hands into 1 hand, it's also really comfortable. Nothing really bad to say about it. It's on the pricier side because it's high quality and it's handmade. 6150, like I said, the fittings are all there. You might see little tool marks on it, but that just gives it character, and it does not diminish the performance that LE offers, because I can say that from cutting with a lot of their stuff now. So that's what I have to say about the sword. So the Kriegmesser, you know, because it's a war knife. That's what I have to say about it. Let's move over to the scabbard, where they have the two little utility knives and also the handmade scabbard. All right, so talking about the scabbard. So overview of the scabbard. Comes with two utility knives. Boom. We've got a sword belt. Flip it around. This is obviously handmade. It's really well done. Let's take a little overview, further away shot of it. The buckles are brass. Their sword belts and their attachments are always really good. So it's brass. It's got washers on the back of it. And they're good quality. I've never had any problems with them from putting these on or whatever. I'm not going to put this one on because it's wrapped so nicely that whoever does purchase this one, I'm going to let you do it so that I don't have to try to perfectly rewrap this thing, because that would be insane. So this is the scabbard. Now the utility knives, they're in these little pouches. These are not just like little throwaway knives that they just kind of added to like make it more expensive. They're a thick spine, way thicker than I thought they were going to be. They're full tang, and really the character of it is not much different than the actual Kriegmesser itself, and even their other messers. It's got the brass rivets, the handle's shaped. The handle's short, but it's supposed to be a utility knife, so you could actually use this for different utility tasks and all that. It doesn't quite go into a full grip, so it's more of like a 3-finger knife. But if you choke up on that, if you're doing some type of work with it, it is really good. So that's one of them. And then, one second. You can see this handle is a little bit thicker than this one, but they're essentially 3-finger knives. They're very comfortable in hand. They're a thick spine. They're not a throwaway knife. They did a really good job on these, even all the way down to their smaller utility knives. Here is what the tangs look like when they are side by side. And then the blade profile is essentially the same. So let's go back to the scabbard. All right, so then that's what they look like again when they're in the scabbard. Got the Kriegmesser back in hand. So when we're putting this one back in, it's lined really well, so to prevent and mitigate any type of scratches on there. And then this is what the whole kit looks like in the scabbard. Drawing it out. Again, that's what it looks like. And then putting it back in, ever so gently. Okay, so let's do some proper up-close looks of this one in the scabbard and out of the scabbard. All right, overall length is 47 and a 1/16 of an inch. Blade length is 36 and 11/16 of an inch. Weight is 3 pounds, 3 ounces. It's very sharp, as you're going to see in the cut testing. Width is 40.4 millimeters. The thickness goes from 8.4 to 4.1 millimeters. Pommel's integrated and peened with a point of balance of 5.5 inches and a grip length of 8 1/2 inches. All right, so the premium crafted scabbard has a pair of integrated buy knives, which are smaller utility knives that have a really nice edge to them. They're pretty much just a very shrunken down version of this messer, but just with more of a spear point to it. And it's got its own 2 little slots here, you can see in the scabbard. Then you can see I'm also showing the knives themselves just from a couple different angles, so you can see the handles are short, but these are supposed to be utility knives, and they're really comfortable, and being handcrafted, very well made. It's a nice addition to this whole collection. All right, we took a look at some specs, up close looks. Let's look at the cut testing. I worked a 2-handed backhand cut, a top edge or false edge cut, and then a single-handed backhand cut. Let's take a look at what the Kriegmesser from LE can do. Thanks for joining me for this review of the Rotmilan Kriegsmesser from Landsknecht Emporium, Part 2. This time featuring the premium sword belt and scabbard and the utility knives. To pick this one up, click the link in the description below this video to buy this one today. If you want to see more from Landsknecht Emporium, let me know in the comments below by commenting on this video. I'm your host, Tom, for Kult of Athena's YouTube channel. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Follow us on TikTok and Instagram. Let me know what you think of this one, and I'll see you in the next review.